Yo, PC fam, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Chill with Chill. It's November 2nd, beautiful day. Let me check outside. Yeah, great weather. It's November, it's basketball season. Uh, Chill, we just finished up with week two
hmm
of the 2024-2025 NBA basketball season. How are we
hmm
feeling so far? Is it everything we thought it was going to be, or what?
Blow up the Brooklyn Nets, Ox. What we doing? Blow up the Brooklyn Nets. Blow them up.
The Nets looking too good?
Blow them up. We got to get these dudes out of here. Nah, Ben Simmons and Cam Thomas. I think Cam Thomas and Schroeder. I think they're averaging 54 game between the both of them. But between the both of them, they're averaging 54 game. Blow up the Brooklyn Nets, Ox. Because when you're doing that, you out of the Cooper Flag sweepstakes.
And that's what I was gonna say. I thought they were trying to get Coop. What happened
That's
to
what
that?
I thought too. That's what I thought too. And I said this to you and Mars. I said this to you maybe a month before the season started. I said, let them start 11-5 or 500. Ben Simmons is out of there. I promise you that. Ben Simmons is gone. No way. I watched them last night. I mean, they ended up beating. I didn't watch all of the game, but I did watch a lot of it last night. They ended up beating the Bulls. And this Brooklyn team, man, again, Ox, I know it's fool's gold early, but I mean, they're going to compete 100%. I know the season just started. They're going to compete. They're going to play hard. We don't really talk nearly as much about Dennis Schroeder as we should. I mean, this is the same dude that was he was the FIBA Cup MVP.
Yeah,
His team won the FIBA. So this isn't a dude who's just a good player. Like Dennis Schroeder is a baller. I think that Cam Thomas, I think he's in the top 10 in the league in scoring. I think he averaged like 28 a game, something like that. So I like what I'm seeing from them, but we blowing up the Brooklyn Nets. We can't keep this together. No, we got to get a franchise player, and we don't have one right now.
Well, chill. Maybe if they're that good, if they are this good, if they can compete like this, maybe they don't need Cooper Flag.
Maybe we might want to roll with what we got. What I do appreciate is their no nonsense coach. He's not with the nonsense. What you are gonna do playing for him, you are gonna compete. If you're not, I will get somebody out here who will compete. That's the 8th, the 9th, the 10th man. And I know how you feel about that, Ox. Coaching matters. And he's one of those coaches who, if you are gonna play for him, you are gonna compete. I don't care how much money you're making. I don't care what the management says. If you're gonna play for me, you are gonna compete. And if you're not, I'll get somebody on the floor who will.
Right. Well, I like Jordy a lot. He was he was on our staff for a while, and hated to see him go, but it's glad that he got this. I'm happy he got this opportunity, and obviously he's taking advantage of it. Maybe they got too good of a coach over there in Brooklyn. I don't know. Who knows?
That might be the problem, because it happens, Ox. It happens, Ox. You don't know, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later. But you don't know what you really have until you actually find out. Like, wait a minute, I didn't know he was this good as a player. I didn't know he was this good as a rebounder. I didn't know he was this good as a scorer. And a lot of that, I feel like, it's at the helm. A lot of that is at the helm. I've always equated that kind of stuff to having all the ingredients. You just got the wrong chef in the kitchen. Always.
Okay. Right. Actually, let's just get it started early. We'll talk about the Brooklyn Nets. My man Breezy just popped into the lobby. I know he wants to give his take on this. Let's pull up Breezy real quick. What up, Breezy?
Thank you. Thank you. This is why I love this show. Thank you for the credit that the Brooklyn Nets deserve. Clap it up for the Brooklyn Nets. Best backcourt right now, and everything Chill said, everything Big Ox said. Where my man is? Shout to Big Chill. Shout to Big Ox. Shout to Chill. Shout to Chill. Shout to Big Ox. Listen, man, I really do appreciate y'all giving them credit. And last night I said it. I said the franchise player before the franchise player. Cam Thomas is the franchise player before the franchise player. Now, let's call it what it is. Two things you should know, Chill, because you know how it is from Jersey to New York, that transit, you know what I mean? So, I'm always pushing the podcast. Yep. Dude, he heard me over talking, pushing the podcast. He like, yeah, I went to Michigan State. The first time I seen Cam Thomas was when he came to my school and gave us 30. He gave him 30 from out of 78 points. And chill, you know college basketball. You play college basketball. 30 points out of 78 points is a lot. You know what I'm saying?
He was in the top 5 in the country as a scorer as a freshman. That was the last person. The last person to do that at LSU was Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. That was 30 years ago. That was 30 years ago that happened. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that was shout out to you, bro. That was a classic stat.
And I think he led the SEC in scoring as a freshman.
Yeah.
And Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf was the last dude to do that. That was 30 years ago.
Yeah, no, everything you said about Dennis Schroeder you can't double Dennis Schroeder because of Cam Thomas. You can't double Cam Thomas because of Dennis Schroeder. And if we talking basketball and we talking coaching, let's get to it. Jordy Fernandez don't put Cam Thomas in the game at the top of the fourth quarter. He put him in like around 7 minutes so he could close the game. And he averages the most points in the fourth quarter. He is in the league. He had with 12.2. Word. So we talking about the franchise player before the franchise player. So to my point about college basketball, is Ace Cooper or any of these top 5 projected players going to average 23.5 points the same way Cam Thomas did? Respectfully?
I don't know.
Respectfully? You know what I'm saying? I can say a lot, man, but I'm just happy to be here, man. Thank y'all for giving the Brooklyn Nets some credit. Appreciate y'all, man.
Absolutely, brother. Good to talk to you, Breezy. No doubt. No doubt. Yep. Ox, I know it's early in the season, and I'm not jumping the gun, right? It's not early. It's early in the season, and I'm not jumping the gun. I had Brooklyn as the worst team in the league. I did. I had them definitely as the worst team in the East, definitely, and I had them as arguably the worst team in the NBA. And I know the season started 2 weeks ago this Tuesday, so I mean I don't know what's there, but I do know that early I see a lot of dudes competing. And I see a lot of bucket getters on this Brooklyn Nets team. And I see them playing defense. Ben Simmons looks like what he did as a defender. He looks something similar to that when he was in Philadelphia. So we'll see if they can continue this. We will. I'll see if they can continue this.
Well, Chill, you say you see some guys on Brooklyn competing.
Yeah.
You know who I don't see competing, Chill?
Who's that?
It's the 1-4 Milwaukee Bucks. That's why I don't see competing. And to make it even worse, Chill, their next 2 games are against the undefeated Cleveland Cavaliers. They play the Cavaliers today, then they play the Cavaliers again on Monday. Is it possible that this team, this Milwaukee Bucks team, can start the season 1-6?
It's very possible that they could start the season 1-6. It's not ridiculous to think that this team can start the season the way that they've started the season. They did not address the problems that they had in the offseason. They did address the problems that they had in the offseason. Let me rephrase that. But they haven't been good. They lack perimeter defense. In addition to them lacking perimeter defense, they don't compete on the defensive end. As a whole, Brook Lopez is long in the tooth. So, and on top of him being long in the tooth, you don't have a backup 5, man. With you not having a backup 5, man, you don't have legit rim protection. Now, what you're relying on is you're relying on Giannis. You're relying on Giannis to be your sole rim protector when Brook Lopez is off the floor. Giannis is a great recovery defender. I will never argue that. I think Giannis is one of the better defenders in the league, but I don't think that that's enough. The Brooklyn Nets are the worst team not the Brooklyn Nets, I'm sorry, Milwaukee, because we just got finished talking about Brooklyn. The Milwaukee Bucks, I think they're at the bottom of the league. I think they're 29th in the league in guarding the long ball line. I think they're ahead of Detroit. They're one of the worst teams in the league in guarding the long ball line. They don't rebound as much as they should. Giannis is their best rebounder. And I see Damian Lillard competing on the defensive end, but that's probably what I'm going to get. That's the best I'm going to get from him. The problem is that we don't have anybody to protect Damian Lillard on the wing. Because we don't have anybody to protect him, you're going to get things like what you saw a couple of nights ago. You're going to get Damian Lillard not dying on screens, but you're going to get Damian Lillard in a lot of isolations. You're going to get Damian Lillard in a lot of hunting. They're going to hunt in mismatches and things like that. That's going to happen with him. Same logic with Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is a great rim protector. Only problem is that he's long in the tooth. So if you continue to go at Brook Lopez can't play all night. He's not a spring chicken. This Milwaukee team, and I've said this to you in the past, and you've been an advocate of coaching. There's more than one way to skin a cat. This Milwaukee Bucks team, when I watch guys like Gary Trent, they have to be better at getting around screens. They have to be better defending one-on-one. I'm not buying the idea, he just can't play defense. I'm not buying that. That's not good enough for me. That this guy just can't play defense. What I am buying is that he might not be an all-league defender. He might not be an elite defender, but what you're not going to sell me is that this guy can't play defense. Taurean Prince can't play defense. These guys just can't play defense. No, we got to coach these guys up, and these guys need to be better. The scheme needs to be different. Maybe we got to play more zone. Maybe we got to double team more, and guys got to shoot gaps more. That kind of stuff is the stuff that changes your defense, where you can get in the passing lane and get steals and speed the game up where you can get points. It's not just, all right, I got to defend better on the ball. Yes, you do have to do that, but we do have to do other things. And the Milwaukee Bucks haven't done any. They haven't shown me any signs of life on the defensive end, Ox. None.
But chill, isn't it year 13, 14 for them?
He showed up in 12, so this is year 13 we're in now. Yep.
I mean, if he hasn't played defense yet, chill, I don't
No, he is who he is, Ox.
Yeah.
I won't argue that, Ox. This is who he is. But what I have seen from him lately is I've seen him competing on the defensive end. You had mentioned Luka. That's all I'm asking. I'm asking you to get in a stance, get your feet moving, and get your hands busy. Don't die on every screen that you get hit with. Stop switching ones and fives. You don't have to drop on every screen. You can get around screens, and guys can help. You can talk more on defense. It doesn't seem like these guys are on the same page with this at all, Ox. It just doesn't.
Right.
And I think that's a large part of why they are who they are.
Right. So we talked about they play Cleveland today and play Cleveland again on Monday. So that's the next two. The next 5, chill. They got Cleveland, Utah, Knicks, Boston.
Yeah. So they got blown out at home by Chicago. Blown out. And I think Chicago shot almost 50% on the long ball. They're one of the worst teams at guarding the long ball line. I think they were looking past Chicago because Boston was coming. No, not Chicago. I'm sorry. Then they lose to Brooklyn in Brooklyn because I think that was a trap game. They were looking past Brooklyn because they were playing Boston. Yep. And they end up losing that game. They end up finding themselves in a dogfight where Dennis Schroeder was absolutely having his way with Damian Lillard and having his way with that backcourt. Had his way with that backcourt. That Boston game, I mean, it was just Giannis, if we're being honest. It was really just Giannis. They couldn't compete with how Boston shot the long ball. They couldn't compete with how the Boston Celtics rebounded the basketball and sped the game up. They couldn't compete with them. It was clearly a talent discrepancy there. And then now we find ourselves in a position where we're behind the 8 ball. We are behind the 8 ball. And Cleveland, who is the best team in the division and a top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference, they're playing great. Evan Mobley looks fantastic. He's more aggressive, getting to the rim. He's actually looking at the long ball line and shooting the long ball. Jared Allen has been great around the rim. And you guys don't have the defense to contend with their offense, particularly with Donovan Mitchell and their rotation guys. So I don't think that they can beat Cleveland. I don't think they'll beat Cleveland today. I don't. They should beat Utah, though, Ox. They should.
Right. Utah. I 100% do not expect them to beat the Knicks or the Celtics.
But it's like anything, Ox. It's okay, Ox. You as a bucket getter, you just need to see the ball go in the bucket one time. Once you see the ball go in the bucket, so that Utah game might be a springboard. They might get Cleveland to trip up in one of these 2 games. That might be the springboard to spark their defense, so they can actually. They can just go off of that and be better playing defense and improve. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't expect them to be Minnesota on defense. I don't expect them to be, Cleveland on defense. No, I don't expect that. But what I do expect them to do is I expect them to compete more and be better. And this could be a springboard for that. One of these 2 Cleveland games and then the Utah game. And then moving forward, because again, Ox, we ain't good enough to look past anybody. We're not. We're not good. We can't look at Utah and go, all right, well, we got the Knicks a couple of nights from now. No. We're not good enough to look past anybody. So every night that they play, they have to be dialed in. Have to be.
Okay. We have a quick super chat. Let me get to from Teddy Hart. He wants to know, chill. Cam Thomas versus prime Ben Gordon. Who you got?
Cam Thomas is a better bucket getter than Ben Gordon. Ben Gordon was a bucket getter. I won't argue that, but Cam Thomas, he scores in a variety of ways. I think he a better athlete than Ben Gordon. I think he got a better mid-range than Ben Gordon, and he shoot the long ball better than Ben Gordon. Ben Gordon, don't get me wrong, downhill was one of the better players, and he was a strong guard too, who can get. And he one of the things that I really appreciated about Ben Gordon was that he could big body bigger guards. You don't see that from 6'2", 6'3" guys, but he could do that. Cam Thomas, he's so good at creating space that makes him just so much better as a scorer when it comes to other guys. If I had to choose between the two, I'm taking Cam Thomas over Ben Gordon.
Okay. Okay. So let's keep going with this Milwaukee Bucks conversation because we got this. I know you've seen this, Chill. The odds on the next Bucks head coach if Doc Rivers is fired.
Yep.
Let's just go with the top couple of guys on here. They got Terry Stotts on here.
Yeah.
He's leading the way. Terry Stotts. Monty Williams.
Stay right there with Terry Stotts.
Okay, let's talk about Terry.
I was there when the nonsense started, right? I was already there when the nonsense started. And I decided, you know what? I don't want nothing to do with this. I think I'm good. This guy doesn't know what he's doing, and this ship is gonna sink. And I don't want anything to do with this. Even though I don't think Adrian Griffin is a bad coach. I think he's a damn good coach. They weren't bought into what Adrian Griffin was selling. He didn't have Giannis on his page. He didn't have Bobby Portis on his page. So I think Coach Stotts saw the dissension with that crew, and he ain't want nothing to do. He wanted nothing to do with that. So now what you're going to do, Ox, is you're going to ask me to come back, and you're going to ask me to come back and coach this crew, which, by the way, the dude you fired him for this dude who you just signed an extension for 3 years for $40 million. You're gonna no, I'm good. I'm not interested in that. Nope.
Next behind Terry Stotts is even more surprising if you ask me. Monty Williams.
You mean this the same dude who Detroit had to beg to coach them, and he paid him $78 million? They had to beg him. He didn't want nothing to do with coaching, Ox. He's coaching his son's 6th grade team or something like that as of right now. Either his son's middle school team or his high school team. One of those two things, that's what he's doing right now. So you're going to ask Monty Williams to come out of retirement after the disaster in Detroit, and you saw what it was, where they were actively losing games, and now you want that guy, who, by the way, you should have hired first. Because I don't think Monty Williams, I do think he wanted to coach, Ox. I don't think he wanted to coach Detroit. That was the problem. I don't think he wanted them. But now he already got paid by Detroit. So now you're going to ask him to come out of that nonsense and get back into coaching you guys when you already, and I can't mention this enough, when you already signed a guy to an extension for 3 years. You already had Adrian Griffin. You got to pay him. And on top of Adrian Griffin, you also got to pay Doc Rivers if you fire him. And then now you want to bring in a third guy. Ox, this is a clown show. This is a straight clown show. What are we doing over here?
It's hilarious, dude. This is
the clown show.
My thing too with Monty, I'm like he's paid right now. Yep. He's enjoying life. Like, leave Monty Williams alone, please.
Please. I'm good, yo. I'm straight over here, man. Nah, what? I'm good.
No, we might as well go through the whole list. Because after Monty Williams, we got Mike D'Antoni.
Ox, he's 73 years old, man. Are you telling me that there's not a coach in the G League or a coach in college that we could find better than Mike D'Antoni? He's 73. The same thing that y'all dudes be talking about, and I said it too, when you talk about Greg Pop, 75, and Pop is on his way out. So you're going to bring in Mike D'Antoni, who hasn't coached in the league in what? I think since he was with Steve Nash when he was in Brooklyn. Yeah, he was with Steve Nash, and that was in, I think, 21, something like that. So in 4 years, he hasn't coached. Now he's much older. He's 73 years old. He's going to bring that philosophy to the Milwaukee Bucks. No. There was a young coach. Prime example. Jordy Fernandez is a damn good coach. Yes, he is. Jordy Fernandez is a damn good coach. Nick Nurse was on the Toronto bench sitting next to Dwayne Casey. There's a guy sitting on somebody's bench that's going to be a damn good head coach in today's game. I don't need to go get a 73-year-old who hasn't coached in the NBA in 4 years who's going to be the difference the difference in us winning. We are already at a standstill with coaches. And the guy that we have, we got to stick with him right now. We have to.
Right. I mean, even I didn't like Mike D'Antoni when he was in his 60s, when he was in his 50s, but 70-something-year-old Mike D'Antoni, like, y'all got to leave the men alone. Behind Mike D'Antoni, they have Mark Jackson.
It almost sounds like, that name that you keep bringing up, that's just never going to happen. Like when we talk about Anthony Davis winning the Defensive Player of the Year, like, can we stop talking about it? Because if he was going to win it, he probably would have won it already.
Right.
If he was going to win it, he probably would have won it already. And it's not that Mark Jackson doesn't want to coach. It's just that nobody wants to hire him. It's not that he doesn't want to coach. It's that nobody wants to hire him. Because if somebody wanted to hire him, he coached that Golden State Warriors team in 13-14. That was 10 years ago. So in the 10-year span, you're telling me that there is nobody in the 10-year span. Mark Jackson wasn't offered a head coach. Mark Jackson was offered a head coaching job and he turned it down. No, nobody offered him a head coaching job. Nobody in the league is interested in Mark Jackson at this particular time. And I don't think that they will be. His name comes up because it's a hot name. That's what it is more than anything. It's not because Mark Jackson is really in contention for any of these jobs. He's not, unfortunately, because Mark Jackson a damn good coach, yo. He is.
I don't even know if it's so much of a hot name anymore. It's at this point to me, it's kind of it's kind of getting played out.
Kind of corny, right?
Yeah, like let's leave it alone. It's like, it's to me, it's crazier than the AD winning DPOY situation. Like I think that's more like when I was young. I used to be like, man, wait till I get Nia Long and Tony Braxton. I'll say that stuff like it's real life. Well, that's never gonna happen. Like Mark Jackson's done. Okay, it's over.
No.
With all due respect, because I really like Mark. I think he was a hell of a coach.
Mark is a damn good coach, Ox. He is. He 100% is.
After Mark Jackson, there's Frank Vogel.
Frank Vogel, I got mixed feelings about Frank Vogel because I don't think first of all, I don't think he should have been fired in Los Angeles. I don't.
Right.
I think that they screwed up because they flipped over that roster. If you bring back the guys that's necessary to bring back, I think that and Anthony Davis and James don't get hurt. I think that they have an opportunity to defend the NBA championship. I do. And I think that they would have been right back in the middle of it. Frank Vogel is one of the better defensive coaches in the game. He's always been one of the better defensive coaches in the game. He was that in Orlando. He was that in Indiana. He was that with the Lakers. With that being said, his offense may struggle from time to time. Sure, his offense may struggle. But with that being said, he's still a damn good coach. I just think that for lack of a better term, Ox, the stench of the Lakers, it could last for a long time. Unfortunately, it could, because people think that if you couldn't coach them, what makes you think you can coach our team? If you couldn't coach James and Anthony Davis, which he did a damn good job. They won the NBA championship.
Yeah.
I mean, they won the NBA championship with him doing it. So the way it ended,
that's a dangerous gig, too, coaching the Lakers.
It is.
It's a dangerous
100%
gig.
It is, Ox. Yes, it is.
There's a couple more coaches left on this list. If you're just getting here, we're running down. The NBA Central dropped a list of the odds to be the next Bucks head coach if Doc Rivers is fired. And we all know that if something goes crazy in this team, I'm pretty sure Doc's going to be the scapegoat. Although I think it's time for them to blow it up. But after Frank Vogel, we got Kenny Atkinson, who's coaching the undefeated Cleveland Cavaliers. So
I just got married, I just got married, Ox. Why are you asking me about this chick over here? I just literally got married. And I'm straight, by the way. Like, I wasn't forced into this marriage, right? I
wasn't a shotgun wedding.
No, it was not, Ox. No, I actually dig this chick a lot. And I plan on hanging with her for a long time. Why are you asking me about this chick, who, by the way, is a nightmare? Why do I want to get involved with her? Why do I want to get involved with her? I don't want to get involved with that at all. No, I already got a job. I'm straight. I'm good with what I got going on over here. I'm straight. Cleveland is in a great position. They got great young players. They got a great organization. They got damn good rotation players. I like what they're doing in Cleveland. I do not want that job. No. And what on top of that, like we just talked about with okay, we just inked Doc Rivers to a 3-year extension for $40 million. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, Ox, that we do go after Kenny Atkinson. What do you think it's going to cost to pry Kenny Atkinson away from Cleveland? On top of what we already have to pay Adrian Griffin, we already have to pay Doc Rivers. Now we got to pry Kenny Atkinson away from Cleveland? No. Hell no.
I mean, and then because there has to be like a contract buyout and everything too, right?
That's what I'm talking about, Ox.
Yeah. Like, come on, man.
So I'm just throwing a number out there. So it's probably, let's say Kenny Atkinson signed a 3-year deal in Cleveland for like $40 million, and it's going to cost us $10 million or $15 million to buy him out. So the 10 or the 15 million it cost us to buy him out, plus it ain't like we signing him to a 2 or 3 year deal. No, he's going to be here for a while. So that's going to cost us another $50 million. No, we're not doing that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Hell no, we ain't doing that.
Last but not least on this list, we have Steve Nash.
Well, which goes back to Monty Williams. Okay, so Steve Nash, he didn't want that Brooklyn job, Ox. He did not want that Brooklyn job. They had Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant had to talk him into that job. I haven't seen Steve Nash close to an NBA bench. In fact, where is Steve Nash? Have you seen Steve Nash anywhere lately? I haven't heard anything from Steve Nash. I haven't seen Steve Nash on any sideline anywhere with the Olympics, in college. I have seen Steve Nash anywhere. I don't think he wants anything to do with coaching at this level anymore. No, that Brooklyn thing was a disaster. And when you have coaches and you have stops like that, this kind of thing can ruin the guy's career. I saw that happen with Sam Vincent. When Sam Vincent ended up with with Charlotte that 1 year when Jordan hired him, and he got fired after that 1 year, never got another head coaching job again. This could be that kind of situation where, you get a head coaching job, and then at the end, you might not never see another one. And I think Steve Nash is one of those guys who I don't see him in coaching in the NBA in particular anymore. I don't. Can't hear you, Ox.
Now that you mention it, I haven't seen or heard from Steve Nash in a while. That's now that you mention it, and I don't blame him. I would want to, but like if I'm like a Steve Nash type person, one of these legends, I wouldn't want to coach in the NBA either. Like, I mean, like, and some people, you never know. Some people might not like coaching and all that. Like, so I said, for me, of course, I would want to try it out. You know what I'm saying? Definitely, but like, I would be done with that. Like, it's just too much. It's too much going on. And that's how. And honestly, I don't want to get off track, but college is going that way too. I wouldn't want to coach in no high major D1 college and deal with no way. I couldn't do it. There's crazy.
There is no not structure, because there is structure there, but there is no commitment, because every year these dudes is basically on 1 year deals in college,
right?
And every year this dude, it's not what it was years ago where I'm going to be here for 3 years. I'm going to be here for 4 years. Nope. 1 year, and then next year, the University of Minnesota or the University of Oregon, they got a deal for me for another $500,000. I'm out. Yeah, I'm gone.
I seen Gino Auriemma talking about it again last night. He was going into detail about the things that's going on in college. Like I said, I don't want to get too far off track, but it's starting to get ridiculous. Obviously, happy that these kids are starting to get compensated, but they just got to restructure some things, and everything will be all right. That's it. Okay, so that's the end of the list of all the coaches that they think will be next behind
Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is not getting fired, Ox. We got to figure this out, yo. We do. Well, he's not getting fired.
Well, even more so, Chill, because when I'm thinking that it's time for him to blow it up, right? Matter of fact, before we move on, Chill, let's get your official thoughts on this. Because we got 355 people in here. Yep. Let's get everybody to hear your official thoughts on this title of the show. Is it, in fact, one second, because we did the coaches. Now let me talk about Giannis real quick, and then we'll get your final thoughts on this, because it says that we got execs talking about Giannis' potential moves, and what he says is, if he did get traded, his preferred trade destinations are the Miami Heat and the Brooklyn Nets.
Yep. Now, before we do that, Teddy Hart. Teddy Hart just jumped on, so we got to deal with Teddy Hart real quick.
Let me get Teddy real quick.
We got to deal with Teddy real quick, and then we're gonna get right back to that. Yes, we will. We'll get right back to that.
Teddy Hart. I don't think the current landscape of the NBA allows for any new dynastic coaches. No more Arbachs, Rileys, Phil Jacksons, Pops, etc. Kurt and Spoelstra might be the last ones, technically.
I don't know. I think that Coach Mazzulla is going to be. I think he's going to be in Boston for a while. Coach Tibbs, I think this is year 5 that he's in New York with the Knicks. Yeah, I think he's in year 5. So I don't know if that's true.
But Tibbs got to start winning for him to be a
yes, he do.
Coach,
yes,
so.
He does. 100% he does. And I think the idea of the quote unquote dynastic coach. Now, dynastic coach means dynasty team. Okay, so it's that I think that's a little bit of a loaded statement because if it can't just be a dynastic coach, it's gonna also be a dynastic team too. And there are teams that the way the CBA is figured out, the way the CBA is structured, it would be difficult to keep like what the Celtics are doing. It's gonna be difficult to keep that unit together for years to come. They're going to have to restructure some things in order to keep that unit together for years to come. But if they are able to keep that unit together, there's no reason why Joe Mazzulla won't still be there. None whatsoever. Same thing with the New York Knicks. I don't see any reason why, if the Knicks are in the East Finals this year, or they're in the NBA Finals, and in the next 2 or 3 years they're competing for the NBA championship, that Tibbs won't still be there. If you're winning, you might not necessarily win the NBA championship, but if you're winning, I think that these coaches, I think that they stick with their franchises. Ox, don't act like, and I don't mean you specifically, let's not act like some of these organizations haven't made mistakes with coaches. Cleveland is as good as I think Kenny Atkinson is. I think J.B. Bickerstaff is a damn good coach. I'm on record saying that I thought they made a mistake letting J.B. Bickerstaff go because I think that he was doing just fine with that crew. He was doing great with that crew.
Yeah, I mean Kenny JD, Bickerstaff. I like Bickerstaff a lot. I like Bickerstaff. I've always been a big fan of Kenny Atkinson. So I like the move. I mean, I don't think they were doing bad with Bickerstaff. I think they were doing really, really well. But I have no problem with if they let go of Bickerstaff. I have no problem with that since they got Atkinson. You know what I mean? So and it's working out pretty well so far. Let me see, because there was another chat from Teddy Hart too that pertains to this conversation as well. He said, "Isn't Rondo currently unofficially auditioning to be a coach for the Bucks?"
I don't know if he's unofficially auditioning, but this goes back to what I talked about when I talked about like why are we bringing up guys like Mike D'Antoni. There are younger guys who are coming up in the ranks that I think that we need to take more of a look at. I think Rondo could be a head coach in the NBA at some point. I do think that. Is he ready now? I mean, we already seen that with Darvin Ham. We saw that with Darvin Ham, and that's not to say that Rondo is the same coach as Darvin Ham, but I'd like to see Rondo get a little bit more. I'd like to see Rondo get a little bit more time under his belt before we hand him a job like that.
Right.
Before we hand him a job like that I'd like to see him get a little bit more time in managing players. And I can appreciate the idea of, guys stepping right into it. Jason Kidd stepped off the floor and became a really good coach. I think Jason Kidd is a great game manager. He was a great point guard, and that went into coaching. Rondo, also great game manager. Can that go right into coaching? Can you manage players? Do you know how to do that? I'll be interested to see how that works.
Yeah. And I love Rajon Rondo, one of my favorite players of all time. Only thing with Rajon is Rajon got to get a little focused off, outside. You know what I'm saying? No driving 100 miles per hour with all the nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Rajon, sometimes he gets caught up in things. It's like Rajon, you could have avoided that. So we got, once he gets that straight, which of course, as you get older, a lot of people don't understand, even when you're in your late 30s, your 40s, you're still maturing. You know what I'm saying? You're still growing as a person. So there's still time for that. Shout out to Rajon. I hope he does get a coaching gig at some point. Let me get back. So let's get back to what we were at. The Bucks I'm sorry, not the Bucks, the Nets or the Heat are his preferred destinations in the event of a trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo. How do you feel about those two destinations? And how do you feel about trading Giannis at all? How do you feel about this whole blow-up situation? I'm talking coaches, players, GMs, everything. Let's get into it.
So, Ox, last season, not the summer of 24, but the summer of 23, Giannis came out and said that he wasn't signing an extension because I need to see if we're going to be able to compete for NBA championships. Well, the Bucks, they end up moving off of Drew Holiday like a week before training camp. They end up moving off of Drew Holiday, and they trade for Damian Lillard, which I wasn't sure about the fit, but I like the aggression. Okay, This team is showing that, listen, Giannis, we're not playing. We're serious about continuing to compete for NBA championships. Giannis ends up signing a 3-year extension. With him signing that 3-year extension, Ox, last season I said to myself, this team has a 3-year window. Damian Lillard was 33 years old at the end of the in the summer of 23. He had just turned 33. I said that this team currently with just Giannis and Damian Lillard, I said they have a 3-year window. That was last year. So now we're in year 2 of this 3-year window. They have not addressed the things necessary in order for them to win the NBA championship, right? We've seen what they look like on the perimeter. We've seen what they look like on their front line. Brook Lopez is long in the tooth. However, Giannis suggests to me as a stand-up dude. And what I mean when I say that, Ox, is just last summer, not the summer that just passed, but in the summer of 23, when he said, I'm not signing an extension because I want to see where we are as a franchise because I want to compete for NBA championships. If Giannis wanted out, these rumors that we're talking about, if Giannis wanted out, I think he would say it, Ox. I think he would, just like Kevin Durant axed out, just like Kyrie Irving axed out, just like Kobe Bryant axed out. I think Giannis would ask out. I think that these people, Giannis's preferred destinations, I think this is all talk. You guys don't know what you're talking about. You haven't heard Giannis say that if I'm getting traded, you haven't heard him say that because I can tell you right now, if Giannis is getting traded, it's going to be Giannis asking out. It is not going to be because the Milwaukee Bucks decide, we're just going to blow this thing up and we're going to move off of Giannis. No. Giannis is their centerpiece. With Giannis being their centerpiece, he is the glue. He is everything to them. If they move off of Giannis, now that means that we basically got to start over. If we move off of Giannis, it's not just moving off of Taurean Prince or Gary Trent or Dame. No, if we move off Giannis, we have to blow this entire thing up. That's what we have to do. And Giannis is our best player. Giannis is not just our best player, Ox. He's arguably the best player in the league. So if I'm coming off arguably the best player in the league, I'm obviously saying whatever we're doing here, it's not working. We got to start over. Should they blow it up? No.
So no, you don't think they should blow it up?
Hell no.
Roster or coach, just work on it and fix it.
Let's keep going right now. Let's keep going right now. I'd like to have this conversation again in a month. But what I'm not trying to do is I'm not trying to blow this whole thing up because again, where I'm blowing it up at, I'm blowing it up at the core, and it starts with Giannis. When am I going to get arguably the best player in the league again? When am I going to get that? If I can't guarantee that I'm going to get that, if I'm starting over, what am I starting over with? If I'm starting over, am I going to get Cooper Flag? Am I going to get Ace Bailey? Am I going to get a premier player that I can build my franchise around? Am I going to get that? I don't know. But I know what I do have right now, Ox. I got a guy who's 29 years old. He's in his prime, and he's arguably the best player in the league. I'm sticking with that. That's what I'm sticking with. And he's going to have to tell me he wants out. Until he tells me that, I'm sticking with what I have. Now, I don't really have a lot of trade capital because, Taurean Prince and Gary Trent and, Bobby Portis, these guys aren't high trade commodities. But for what I need, I have to shore up my perimeter defense. And I know it's early, but I have to shore up my perimeter defense. These guys got to get better. And if they can't get better, Ox, in a month when we having this conversation, then we got to start looking in a different direction. We have to. But as far as blowing it up right now, Ox, I got arguably the best player in the league. I ain't starting over.
Let's take a step back. Step back. Okay. So let's say blowing it up we're not necessarily talking about a complete demolition. We're not talking about just tearing the whole building down, digging up the foundation, and starting all over again. We're not talking all that. But maybe we might need to get the roof redone. You know what I'm saying? Maybe have an electrician come in here and fix up some faulty wiring. Do some landscaping, repaint the house, you know. Brooke Lopez, Bobby Portis, Chris Middleton, all these other guys. Maybe it's in favor to send these guys to some teams that might need a vet or like for instance, let's say hypothetically, of course, let's say if the Kings we're in need of a backup big that with some rim protection. Let's say if we were to take on Brooke Lopez and send them Keon Ellis or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Some great perimeter defense, which I'm not in favor of that. I'm just speaking hypothetically, of course. If something like moves like that, I think moves like that will help. Right?
I don't hate that at all, Ox. And in fact, I can move Lopez to the 5 and put Sabonis at the 4. I can actually do that. I'm not sure if I hate that, to be honest with you. Right. I think that lineup would work if I'm going in that direction. Now, what you're asking is to do some minor adjustments in the house because the house is already built, right? The house is already built. We got the furniture. We got the furniture in here. We got the TV on the wall. We got the cars in the garage. We got that. We need to fix some things in the house, though. We got a leaky faucet. And that leaky faucet can turn into a flood if we don't address it. And we didn't address it. And that's what it's turned into now. That's the problem. That leaky faucet is now turned into a flood. And now we have a bigger problem, which is their perimeter defense. This kind of stuff that they didn't address over the summer that they could have addressed, and they didn't. Now, when I talk about blowing up a unit, right? When I talk about blowing up a unit, it starts at the core. Right? It starts right from the beginning and it starts at the core. So if we made a mistake with Damian Lillard, then we have to rectify that. I still don't know because I think before the Memphis game, I think Damian Lillard's averaging like 28, 6, and 6. He's getting busy. Let's not act like Dame is washed. No, he's not. He's averaging 28, 6, and 6. He's still getting busy. That's not the problem. Dame is still a bucket getter. Dame is still great coming off screens. Dame is still great shooting the long ball. Dame is still great getting downhill. He can still score it with the best of them. That's always been his mantra.
But chill. Speaking of Dame, I got a super chat right here. Questions and Designs says, switch Dame and Brunson. Which team gets better?
That's just not fair because Brunson is a lot younger. That's just not fair, man.
But who's better this season? And like let's say it happened now. Who's better this season and next season? Let's not go 3-4 years from now. Just this season and next season.
I think that Brunson, if you put him on that Milwaukee team, I mean, you still got a guy that's going to compete on defense. He is a better defender than Dame. He's not much better. Is Brunson a better bucket getter than Dame on that Milwaukee team? I don't think so. No, I think he might be getting buckets in a different way. I think he puts a lot more pressure on the defense in the interior in that way. But is he getting more buckets as a bucket getter than Dame? Is he scoring more? Is he more effective in the pick and roll with him and Giannis than Dame? I'm not sure of that because Giannis is more of a slip guy. And with Giannis being more of a slip guy, you have to keep the defense honest especially as a primary ball handler. You have to keep the defense honest. So if Jalen Brunson, who's one of the best downhill players at the small guard spot, he's one of the better downhill players. If he could keep the defense honest playing with Giannis, I mean, I think it could work. I don't think that they're much better. And I feel the same way with the Knicks. If the Knicks got Damian Lillard, I don't think that they're much better in terms of just because Dame is getting buckets. I think they're better because of their defense. They have a much better defense than what's going on in Milwaukee. Much better. That would be the difference.
Right. Another chat that pertains to this, which Nick Tri-State, you're my man, but I completely disagree with this package. She says, Giannis for the Jimmy Jovic package. Look out.
Click.
Fast. They're hanging up. Everybody's hanging up. Hanging up.
Thanks.
Neither team likes this trade. The thing about it is, if in this whole situation with the Heat and Giannis or whatever, it would have to be Giannis and Jimmy together, like right now, instantly. Even though I don't think Jimmy got too much time left on the clock, but it would have to be, you know what I'm saying, them together. Meaning, Bam would have to be on his way to Milwaukee. And I don't know if I like that either. Could the Bucks potentially nab Herb or Trey Murphy from New Orleans? If so, would that answer their perimeter defense needs? That's a super chat from Teddy Hart.
I said that last year. I said last year, Ox, you've told me this 1,000 times. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And you line up 10 girls, all of them are not going to say no. Somebody's going to say yes. I can promise you that. I apologize. One of them's going to say yes. So pick up the telephone and call them. Call up New Orleans and ask for Herb Jones. Check their temperature. See how they feel about him. They
need a big man down there, right?
Call up the Chicago Bulls and ask for Alex Caruso. This was last year. I was like, call up the Chicago Bulls and ask for Alex Caruso.
Yeah, you did.
Call up the New Orleans Hornets and ask for Herb Jones. Call these guys and ask and find out how they feel about him. You're not gonna know until they shut you down and they go, nah, we good on Herb Jones. Guys get traded all the time just off a simple phone call. Hey, Ox,
right?
How you feeling about Keon Ellis these days? I got Max Christie in a 1. How you feel about that?
Sure, I almost hung up because you said the key. I thought you was going with Keegan. I was going to say, no, I'm out of here. No, but I listened. But see, we got
a conversation going on. We have a conversation going on, right? And a lot of these teams, I think that if Herb Jones was with the Milwaukee Bucks, he makes them significantly better.
Oh my gosh,
he makes them significantly better on the perimeter. He doesn't make.
But
who's
in that trade though? Chill, just hypothetically,
as long as it's not Dame, as long as it's not Giannis on that perimeter, whatever you want, you can have it.
Okay,
whatever you want, you can have it. And on top of that, I got Herb on the cheap, so it's not like I got Herb for $175 million. No, I got Herb on the cheap. So whatever you want on this perimeter, take Dame out the picture. Take Dame out the picture. Whatever you want, you can have it. Knock yourself out.
Okay. Well, so it looks like, Chill, you're against the complete blow up. You think this team has time, but you also said we can come back and talk about this in about a month or so.
Let's talk about it in a month.
We'll hang this up. And we'll get back to it. So in the meantime, before we get to our next segment, let's get to the lobby. We got some guys that's been down here waiting for a minute. Let's get straight to them. We got my man Marcus from the 626. What's up, Marcus?
What up?
Yo, what's up, y'all? Hey, real quick, Chill. How you feel about Ant Trey Ball? Real quick.
Good.
You like it?
Yes, I do. He look like he. And I ain't even just on the long ball. He looks like he's expanding his game, and I like that. I like that about him. I do that. That shows improvement to me. He ain't just shooting the long ball just to shoot it. He's shooting it with confidence. He's shooting it with confidence. Like, this is my shot right here. So he ain't just shooting it just off the strength of, I'm just going to shoot the long ball this season to see where I am. No, he's shooting that with confidence. He looked like he worked on that over the summer.
Yeah, for sure. But with the Bucks, man, I agree with you. I think for any team, I feel like we got to give it like 20 games. Then I would see like this is what they really are. If they still doing similar things by game 20 or game 25, then the Bucks are cooked. I already think they're cooked right now, but yeah, the Bucks are cooked.
Don't forget, we did see. I think it was two years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago.
The Celtics.
No, the Lakers started 2-10. No, the Lakers started 2-10. They ended up in the West Finals that year.
They did.
Yes, they ended up in the West Finals.
I remember those 2-10.
Yes, sir. They started 2-10. They ended up making some trades.
They had a trade though.
Yes, well, that's the idea. So we still have to see what's going on with this Milwaukee Bucks team. I got to see it first.
They ain't getting no damn Kenny Atkinson.
Get the hell out of here.
They're not getting him.
Hell no.
I don't know why Kenny would ever even think about that. I got something good going on with these young guys right here. I got probably a future DPOY right here today.
I'm good.
Why would I ever go to the Bucks? You know what I mean?
I'm
go
straight.
to somebody that can't play defense and Damian Lillard. The Bucks ain't winning the championship though. I don't even think they contenders.
I had them as a top 5 seed in the East off the strength that they got Giannis. And Giannis is having another MVP type season. I'm hoping that it doesn't go to waste. I think he's going to be his first team All-Pro again. I think that it's possible that he can play at an all-league defensive level, but They have to. They got to figure it out in Milwaukee. They have to. They have to figure it out in Milwaukee because a lot was invested in these dudes. A lot.
I don't think he has like I don't think the pieces around him like Gary Trent or Taurean Prince starting. Taurean Prince starting is crazy. Damian Lillard's defense is terrible. Gary Trent's defense is, I'm gonna be honest, it's not good. I think everybody's defense on that team is not good. I think that's the whole reason on why they keep losing to these teams, man. Like you can't lose to the Chicago Bulls and get smacked by the Nets in back-to-back games.
Well, I do think we got to respect the fact that the Bulls. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I think the Bulls are a good team. If I'm being honest,
the Bucks wanted to, and it's still early because I don't jump out the window with these teams early like the Brooklyn Nets. I do have to give them credit for what they've done so far, but like when we get to January, when we get to February, I think we're gonna have a different I definitely think we're gonna have a different conversation about these dudes. So with that being said, you got to do a better job in guarding the long ball line, which
you got to do a better job in everything.
Yeah, Milwaukee Bucks do not do that.
You got to keep them. You got to close out the shooters. You got to do everything. Yeah. Chill. There's no way that Ja Morant has that highlight. Where's the effort at, man? Where's the effort at? He threw a lob off the ground. He's on the ground. You got to think about how lackadaisical your effort is if you can have a guy throw a lob while he's on the ground.
Yeah,
that should have never happened.
Wait, hold on, Marcus. Hold on. That's one of them things where it looks like that should never happen, but in real time, it's kind of like he falls. Everybody's kind of looking at him, and nobody expects him to. Like that. If anything, that was just incredible vision and a credible thought for Ja to even try that. I can't say that that's just terrible, lazy, lackadaisical defense. I mean, somebody falls on the ground. It's almost like we're expecting somebody to dive on a loose ball. You know what I mean? It looks like something that should never happen, but
But if you dive on Ja, it's a foul. That's number one. I mean, right. if you dive on Ja, that's a foul. He's got the ball sitting down. If you dive on him, that's a foul. But I mean, how many guys sitting on the floor at around the free throw line can throw the ball to the rim? I'm sure more than half the dudes in the NBA can do that. Just throw the ball to the rim. Because that's all Ja did was threw the ball to the rim.
Right.
So
hey man, it was incredible. But you would have dove on the ground. You're not going to tell me you wouldn't have dove.
If the ball, it wasn't a loose ball anymore. Ja had it in his hands. It's not football, bro. I can't just dive on him. You know what I'm saying? Like if anything, I'm gonna start jumping around like who's he gonna pass to, or I'm gonna look for my man. I'm gonna find my man. Like he's on the ground. Let me find my man to go. Deny whatever. I can't say what I would have did, Marcus. Honestly, all I'm saying is that. No, I wouldn't expect him to throw a lob pass from the ground. So.
Yeah, that is insane. That is insane.
Yeah,
I never even seen that in NBA for real. Someone just throwing a lob off the ground like that.
Pretty impressive. It is. All right, brother. Good to talk to you. Yep.
All right, Marcus.
Yep.
That is impressive, though. I won't argue that. Yeah, that is definitely impressive. So
yeah, and you know what? Not because like you said, he just threw it to the rim. So it's not like it was incredibly hard for him to do that. It was just like the thought process to do it. Like, who thinks, I'm gonna throw a lob pass to him? That's what it was to me a little more. We got Classic. Classic been waiting for quite a while. Let me get my man up here. What up, Classic?
Yo, what up, y'all? Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Loud and clear.
What up? Yeah, so I'm so glad that this is happening to the Bucks because before I started rooting for the Celtics, Giannis was my favorite player because he like I said before, I like greatness and I love winning. And so after they won that first championship, I'm like, man, Giannis is about to be a top 5 player all time. I just knew he was about to ring off like 3 championships in a row. And then that next year they got beat by Boston. And I was cool with that because, Boston was a great team. They went 7. And then that next year they had the number 1 seed. I thought they were going to win. And then Miami just surprised everybody. And I don't think Boston was ready for that the first round. And I kind of blame the play-in at first for that because I think Miami got hot in that play-in and then they surprised Boston. And then, not Boston, Milwaukee, and then they ended up going to the finals. And I think Giannis he blamed the wrong people. He should have blamed himself for that loss to the Heat. Because if he could make free throws at a consistent level, they would have beat the Heat in that series. It had nothing to do with the injury. It had nothing to do with Drew Holiday getting cooked by Jimmy Butler. It was his fault because he couldn't make free throws, but he scapegoated Mike Budenholzer, which was the perfect coach for him. And then he scapegoated go to Drew perfect point guard for him because Drew Holiday can score, but he can also play defense. But then he got lucky when they hired Adrian Griffin, and they had a great record. They were the number 2 seed, and then he got him fired, and they over there dancing the next game after that. And that's when I was like, yeah, I'm good on Giannis, and I'm just so glad now that they got Dame. Dame has brought that losing culture that he brought from Portland to Milwaukee, and I think they're good, and I'm glad that it's happening to him.
Wow, that sounds like Hater Nation 101. I'm all for it because that's how I feel about the Yankees. So, but I can tell you that it wasn't all Giannis's fault. I mean, they had Drew Holiday getting his ass kicked by Jimmy Butler had a lot to do with that. 100% it did. No question about that. The no adjustments that they made with just letting Jimmy Butler just get off the way he did. And don't get me wrong, I think Drew Holiday is a great perimeter defender, but there are times when you need help dealing with guys. And the fact that they didn't give Drew Holiday any help dealing with guys like that, Brook Lopez was not effective in that series at all. He didn't do much of anything. Same thing with Bobby Portis. He didn't do much of anything. I mean, don't get me wrong. Giannis did get hurt, but it didn't affect him as much where he couldn't play at all. He had a 38-10 game in that series. So he was only out for a game and a half. So it wasn't like he wasn't available. He was available, but it wasn't solely his fault. But he did have a lot to do with it. Yes, he did. 100%. So
personally,
but yeah, even if he would
classic personally, I think you was spitting right there. Personally, I think you was spitting.
All right, brother.
All right, classic.
Yeah, I mean, well, appreciate y'all having me up. Y'all have a good one.
Absolutely, no doubt.
Hey, Chill, anytime somebody come and keep it real about Giannis, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
I gotta love it, man.
Ox, you heard me. The indictment papers are out. The indictment papers have already been drawn up. We just haven't issued the arrest warrant yet. But the indictment papers have already been drawn up. So we've seen this dude 2 years ago as the number 1 seed get bounced. They didn't lose in a dogfighting round when they got bounced. And then last year he misses the playoffs. And then here we are now with this. And here we are now with this team. Oh, 100% the indictment papers are out. Now, don't get me wrong. Giannis is still playing at a league MVP level. But what has to happen, they got to get better. I don't know how much more he can do, but they got to get better. They have to.
Mm-hmm.
They got to get better.
Yeah, definitely. With that being said, too, Giannis free throw situation, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they're making it a bigger deal than it is, or it's just the mentality for him to try to duck the free throw line that makes it worse. His actual free throw shooting, if you ask me, like they can work around that. They can still win with it. It's not like it's not like every time it goes to the free throw line, it's like, oh, he's not going to make any of these. You know, a lot of time he splits, and it's like in the long run, 50% for the free throw line is terrible. Yeah. But in a late game situation, Giannis go 1 for 1 for the free throw line. Like I'm good with that, you know, personally.
But what I don't want to do is I don't want to act like just because you go to the free throw line, that means you want to go to the free throw line. Giannis, that's why they got Dame. They got Dame to close out games because Dame is an 85+% free throw shooter. Mm-hmm. And when you get in the meat and potatoes of games, Dame is knocking down free throws. You want your best ball handler and your best free throw shooter with the ball in his hands. Giannis does not, even though Giannis is at the free throw line, and some people will tell you that Giannis in the fourth quarter or Giannis late in games, he shoots some of the most free throws in the game. That's because teams know that they need to foul him to get him to the free throw line because we have an opportunity for him to miss. That does not mean that Giannis wants to go to the free throw line. That's why when you saw them play Milwaukee, when you saw Milwaukee play Miami 2 years ago, that ball was a hot potato. He was trying to get rid of it as much as he possibly could because we want the ball in our best free throw shooter's hands.
Yeah, and that's to my point though, Chill. I think him ducking the free throw line makes it far worse than him just going up there shooting the free throws.
Shaq didn't want to go to the free throw line, Ox. Shaq did not want to go to the free throw line.
I mean, well, he didn't have no choice. That was coming to get him. He didn't have no choice. I witnessed that. Like, no, you're shooting these free throws.
Let's go.
Chill, and you know, like I talk about this a lot. Like free throws is a sore spot for me. Because I was really bad at free throws too. And Chill, I remember one time I was playing, I got fouled a couple times straight. Not to the ref, I'm like, yo, ref, come on. He was like, yo, relax. You're not gonna make the free throws anyway. And I was like, oh, damn.
You're already 2 for 8.
Yeah, that
Two
was
for 8 from the
embarrassing.
stripe as it is. So
we got a super chat from the Treb One. He says, Coach Bud looked Drew dead in his eyes while Drew was yelling for help and said, "You got it, Drew. You're playing great defense. Keep going, Drew."
I told Ox it was Rocky Balboa watching Apollo Creed get beat up. That's what happened. He watched Drago beat up Apollo Creed, and he did not throw the towel in. You just let it happen. You just let him beat him up. And you could have stopped this. You could have 100% stopped this, but you didn't. You just let it happen. And he ended up getting killed. Now that I'm thinking about it, same way I feel about Tariq killing his father. I'm never forgiving Rocky for letting Apollo Creed get beat up like that. I'm not off that. Nah, yo, I'm not. I can't believe you let him get beat up like that. That was some bullshit.
I don't want to get off topic here, but I saw somebody on the internet. They made a video about this, right? They made a whole video about the fact that Rocky did that on purpose because he didn't want Apollo to tell everybody that when they did the rematch or whatever, Apollo beat his ass.
So I got to keep him quiet. So I'm gonna let this dude beat him. I'm gonna let this dude beat him to death. That way, he can't tell everybody he whooped my ass the second time we fought or the third time we fought.
That was hilarious. I was like, "There's no way y'all telling me that Rocky was plotting on Apollo's death." That's sad.
Keep beating him up. Yeah, keep beating.
Oh man, keep going. Real quick. Oh, one more super chat from Teddy Hart before we get back to the lobby. Teddy Hart says, after this stop, they need to go ahead and put Doc out for pasture.
He might be glue after this, Teddy. He might be. Doc might be glue after this, yo. He might. I'm not saying that he is, because I seen Alvin Gentry get second opportunities and third opportunities and fourth opportunities. I seen Mike D'Antoni get a bunch of different opportunities, but Doc might be glue after this. He might be. Yes.
Man, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Okay, who we got in the back? We got Brax the Bandit. What up, Brax?
Yo.
What up?
It's been a minute since I've been on my stomping grounds, man. I remember last time I was here, we ain't gonna get into that. But you say you think they need to blow it up?
No, not yet.
I know you think I like disagreeing with you. I don't, but I disagree with you. I'm not gonna lie, they gotta get it up out of here, dude. I think the nail in the coffin was Doc. Once you sign him, yeah, you grasping for straws.
So what do we? Okay, so if we're blowing it up, we're starting over.
Right.
So if we're starting over, by moving on from Giannis. That's what we're starting over, right? So we're gonna move off. We're gonna move off of Giannis. So we're gonna call up one of these young teams and see if we can get a young player, a young franchise player. Like, let's call up Orlando and ask for Banchero and see if we can build our unit around him. Right? Go ahead. Keep going. Let's call up Orlando and see if they'll hand over Banchero for him. And because again, we're talking about starting over. We're not starting over. We're not starting over with first round picks or if we're moving Giannis, we're moving Giannis to somewhere where we're gonna do him a solid. We ain't moving Giannis to Toronto, right? We're not moving Giannis to Washington.
The man said he want to go to Brooklyn. So if true, the man
I don't think he said any of that. To be honest with you, I don't. To be honest with you, Brax, I don't think he said any of that. I don't
think he did either. But if the man said Brooklyn, he don't care about a solid. He just want to hoop at that point.
I'll take all of them. I'll take all of them picks from Brooklyn. I ain't taking one or two of them. I'll take all of them. And I know that I think in the collective bargaining agreement with one player, you only allowed 5 ones. I'll take all 5 of those ones.
Hey, Milwaukee. I was gonna say Milwaukee is getting all 5 for Giannis. They're getting all 5. Yep, but as far as like resetting, I mean, there's multiple ways you could do it. I mean, you could just. Hey, I just want draft compensation. Like, just give me a bunch of picks, get him out of here. Dame, we just gonna get Dame until his contract, and then we just gonna build through draft. Because that's how they got Giannis in the first place. They could just go back to that. I'm not too mad.
Wait, Brax, there's no way that Dame stays around if Giannis is gone.
For sure. He's probably not going to
stay in Portland,
No, for sure. That's why I'm like, I agree with that part, but also, I mean, we know these gyms, they could be a little shicey. It could be like, nah, we don't have to trade you. Or like, they could do that, or they could just trade him and like full on reset, and we have a bunch of draft capital and we just keep doing that. I'm not too mad at the trade for a young star player, but I don't know if any of these franchises are going to trade for their star players.
Just so you know,
see what I'm saying?
Damian, and to your point, Damian Lillard becomes a journeyman. He'll be on 6 different teams before his career's over.
Yeah.
If he ends up getting moved, he becomes a journeyman at this point.
Yeah, he'll be a journeyman. I could
he
see
gets
Dame
moved.
being a journeyman because I don't know, bro. Dame is just something different. But
I have a difficult time when I have arguably the best player in the league. I'm moving off of him. Yo, you have to ask out. You have to.
But it's just like
Brax, you and me, Brax. We talk about if I'm married to Tony Braxton. Tony Braxton she got to ask out. She has to. I'm not breaking up with her.
Hey, she got to break up with me. Because
she got to break up with me. I'm not asking out. If Sally Richardson, if I'm married to Sally Richardson, she got to break up with me. I'm not breaking up with her.
If that's on my side, hey, I'm handcuffed. You feel me? But I get what you're saying. But I mean, I don't know. I just feel like with Dame, it's just he's one of them players who's like what do you be saying? Long in the tooth, whatever. I don't think this is just a phase for Dame. I think this is just Dame.
Well, he still got something left though, Brax. It's not like
he got something left, but is he like? I don't know. I don't.
He ain't
see
Dame
this
from 6 years.
Yeah,
ago.
he not Dame from 6 years ago, and not going like he's just not the same player that we seen like Bubble Dame, where it's just like, okay, this is a player that we can just win with. I don't see that anymore, honestly.
Yeah, but Dame has to be on a team that's fully constructed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Dame can't be on a team like this where it's, we got a big man that's a little older like Brook.
He has to be in
protect the rim like he used to be. We don't got the perimeter defense like we used to have. You know what I'm saying? So Dame is still nice. I think Dame is still a really good player. It's just that he has to.
It's just with this unit, he's not. Yeah,
that's all.
Because if it was the Dame 6 years ago or whatever, what we saying, I think this unit wouldn't have been terrible. It would have been a possible, but with this unit now, with the Dame now, I just don't see it happening.
Let me ask you this question: What does Milwaukee look like with, let's say, Herb Jones on their crew? What does Milwaukee look like with Alex Caruso as a protector of Damian Lillard? What do they look like with Jonathan Isaac on their crew? How much better are they?
They look better, but I don't know if it's just one piece that does it. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, because I'm not fond of their bench either. Like, I'm not fond of much that's going on in Milwaukee. Like, adding Herb Jones, adding Alex Caruso, adding Jonathan Isaac. Yeah, well, first of all, Jonathan Isaac's still pretty injury prone himself. But the Bucks you're just adding on to the issue. Like, the Bucks are a very old team. Aren't they like the oldest team in the league or one of the oldest teams in the league?
They're the second oldest team in the league.
So yeah, I don't necessarily see that working, on top of the fact that, Chris Middleton has his issues. And then Giannis, I love Giannis. He's actually one of my favorite players. I think he's the best player in the league. But I don't think just adding one piece is doing it. Like, you have to that's why I said it needs to be a reset.
That's what I'm saying, though. I do feel like that. Your stance is you can't, from what I'm listening to, it sounds like your stance is we can't win with Dame at the helm. We can't win with Dame at the helm. But I said the same thing about Kyle Lowry into Kawhi Leonard, right? Into Kawhi Leonard, and then enter Marc Gasol and Ibaka.
Oh yeah.
Now we can win with this. So,
but that's the thing, though. Kawhi and DeMar are two totally different animals. Like
100%. But if I challenge you to name me 10 league guards in the game better than Damian Lillard right now.
10?
10 of them.
Like just guards in general,
10
or
league guards in the game better than Dame Lillard.
Let's see. Luka, Curry, Shea, Trey, Jalen.
Trey who?
Young.
All right.
I don't love that neither, Ox, but okay.
Hey,
okay.
I
don't love it either. Keep going.
No, Brax, keep going. Keep going, Brax. Keep going, Brax.
I don't love it neither.
Okay.
I don't love it
counted
either.
him.
Trey Young is better than Dame. What are we doing?
All right, we counted him, Brax. Keep going.
Sorry. My fault.
You said Fox too, didn't you?
Yeah, I said Fox.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Okay, so that's 6.
Did I say Brunson yet?
You did. Mm-hmm.
Okay, Brunson.
Yep.
I'm forgetting a bunch of people. Those
you're not. Ja. How about Ja?
Ja's better than him. Yes.
Ja.
Who else?
Are you taking Jamal Murray over Dame?
I'm not taking Jamal over Dame. I'm
Let's see.
I'm not taking Reese either, honestly.
Nope. So now it gets tricky, and we're at 7. So I have
tricky at 7.
So I have a top 10 lead guard in the game on my team. That's number
Arguably.
1. And in your estimation, I got the best player in the league on my roster. Right? So I got
But this is the thing though. That drop off from 1 to 5 or 1, in my opinion, that 1 to 5 drop off, once it gets 6, 7, 8, that's when it's like, okay, we getting a little spooky now.
Okay. But I can say the same. I can say the same thing. I can say the same thing in
LaMelo. Yeah, LaMelo. I'll take LaMelo over Dame too.
I can say the same thing about Kyle. Like, what's the separation in 2017 between Kyle Lowry and Russell Westbrook? What's the separation between Kyle Lowry and Chris Paul in 2017? It ain't like this. I can tell you that right now. But it's not like this. It is not like this. I can tell you that right now. There's a huge gap. The point that I'm making is that the capital that you have with a guy like Damian Lillard as a top 10 league guard in the game, and in your estimation, the best player in the game. So I got the best player in the game, and I got arguably a top 10 league guard in the game. I have enough capital that I can build around that. Sounds like we got to do a better job in building around these guys. And the window is only 2 more years because Dame is 34 years old, and he's still damn good. He's still damn good. I don't want to waste any more of Giannis's years. We got to do a better job in building around these guys.
So I think my question to you would be, do you feel that same way about Denver? Because you could say the same thing for them right now.
Well, I still think that Denver is viable because, again, that's the same reason why I talk about Milwaukee. The same way I talk about Milwaukee, I talk about Denver the same way. Because they got, in my estimation, you think it's Giannis. I think Joker's the best player in the game. When you got the best player in the game, I have to give you an opportunity. And because I have to give you an opportunity, there's no way I'm just going to throw you under the bus and go, yo, this team is whack. No. Jamal Murray has to be better. Not just Jamal Murray, but the way that they play in Denver, they don't play. They still play the same way that they did 2 years ago. These guys aren't making shots. MPJ, he's not making shots like he was 2 years ago. Was that a one-off? What happened? I don't think so. Because, last year it went down a little bit, but they have to be better. But they have the ingredients too because they won. We already
They lost a lot of ingredients too, though. They lost a lot of viable ingredients.
They lost Bruce Brown, sure. They lost
KCP.
Bruce Brown, and they lost KCP. But you replaced KCP. You had that on your bench in Bruce Brown and Christian Brown. I like him and I like what he's turning into. So I think that you replace that. I don't think that you are that far off with that. I think you got a damn good athlete and a finisher and eventually a better long ball shooter. With that being said, the glue here is Joker. These guys got to play better playing off Joker. The roster construction, Jamal Murray has to be better. MPJ has to be better. Aaron Gordon got busy last night. So sure. I don't think that this is a team that I'm looking at that I'm saying, yo, they're done. They got the best player in the league. Ain't no way that they got the best player.
I think it could be a little bit of both. I think it's a little bit of both. Like, I wouldn't say they're necessarily completely over. Like, you could just tinker a couple things and we're back where we are. But at the same point, this isn't a roster to win. But that's just how I feel about it.
Yep,
for sure. All right, Brax, we appreciate you pulling up, fam.
Peace.
Yeah, man. Speaking of Denver, we got to, where is it? Okay, from FIFA. Whatever. Do you think Denver will or should trade?
They may. Yeah, they may make a move.
Aaron Gordon, MPJ or something?
I don't think with their core. No, I think that they keep this core together. I think that it's way too early to make any moves in Denver. I just think that they got to play better. I think more than anything that they got to play better. If we get another second round exit, considering that they just extended Jamal Murray and extended Aaron Gordon and Joe, and they got a lot of these guys still under contract, and you still got Christian Brown on his rook deal. If they don't go deep in the playoffs next year, I can see them blowing up. I can see them moving off a couple of those pieces. I can see that happening.
Yeah, honestly, Chill, the thumbnail, the title today was supposed to be about the Nuggets and the Bucks,
right?
But I was too tired. I know I wasn't going to make it through the whole game last night, so I wasn't sure if they're going to lose. So I was like, what, we just got to ride the Bucks. But hey, the Nuggets, they lost like I thought they were going to lose. I'm I think I'm out on Denver, Chill.
Well, I like I said, Ox, I gave them a shot off the strength that they got the best player in the league. That's it. That's the only reason why I give them the best. I give them a shot because they got the best player in the league. I look at them the way I look at Milwaukee. That's why I had Milwaukee as the top 5 seed in the East, off the strength that they had arguably the best player in the league, and they got arguably a top 10 point guard on their team. For that reason, right there.
Well, moving on, Chill. Let me get into. I want to get into this segment real quick because I think this is very important. We don't have too much time left. Yep. I want to get into this. I think it's like I said. I think it's very important for us to speak about this. Chill. Just like we usually do. Sometimes we make lists. Y'all know how we do over here. We make lists and we talk about them. Chill. The list I asked you to put together yesterday was the 5 teams that utilize the offseason and are showing actual improvement already.
Yep.
Teams that are actually showing improvement from offseason moves or adjustments that they made, and it's not taking them until January to reap the benefits of those improvements. I'm talking about instantaneously playing better.
Yep.
Do you want me to read off your 5 teams, or do you want to go ahead and
we can go? I'm gonna go with you. I'll go with you.
Okay.
We'll start with 5. We'll start with 5 and we'll roll from there.
Okay. So at 5, Chill, you chose the Houston Rockets. Could you elaborate on that?
Well, again, a lot of people, they see your team, and why didn't you go get this point guard? Why didn't you go get this 2 guard? Why didn't you go get this center? We need to upgrade at this right here. When in reality, you may have the pieces right there, and it's just something as simple as adjusting at the helm. So Steven Silas, they were Animal House, Ox. Then you bring in Ime Udoka. Now you see this team in the offseason. What they're doing is they're getting together. How many teams have we seen in the offseason get together and actually play pickup in the offseason? I haven't seen any. I only seen Houston. I've seen guys playing pickup. I haven't seen teams get together. That's a culture change. And this team right here, I'm seeing Jabari Smith and Jalen and Sengun and all of these guys get together in the offseason, and we are going to get better. That comes from one thing, and that comes from changing the culture, changing the identity of the team, and that's the coach. That's huge, and you see how much dividends it's paid. I think they're tied for 5th in the West right now because of that, because now there's more discipline on this crew. Jalen Green has gotten much better in his pull-up game. Sengun, they're running the offense through him. He looks a lot better at what they're doing. I love what I'm seeing from Jabari Smith. I'm a huge Jabari Smith fan. I love what they're doing there. I do.
Okay. So that was number 5, Houston. And number 4, you actually chose the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I did choose the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I chose them off the strength of just what Julius Randle brings to them, which is a toughness. Which is a toughness that they were already a tough team. They were the best defensive team in the league, but now they have a different level of toughness. And Jamal Murray went out of the game yesterday because he had a concussion. Why did he have a concussion? He ran into Julius Randle, right? So this isn't a situation where you're just going to be walking through people. Nah, we're a lot tougher than what we were in the past. We're not going to be pushed around. No, that's not happening. And on top of that, you got a player in Julius Randle who is one of the better playmakers in the game, who's one of the better distributors in the game. And that resonates throughout the rest of the crew when the ball is moving. And I think that that's big for Minnesota. Minnesota has definitely improved because of that instantly. And I see what it's doing I see what it's doing for Anthony Edwards. It's huge.
Okay. At 3, none other than the Golden State Warriors.
Ox, you ever see a player that you look at and go, yo, he should be playing for this team, or he looks great with this team? As soon as I saw Buddy Hield, I'm thinking to myself, he should have been on the Warriors because he looked like a Warrior. I understand why he wasn't there because they had Klay Thompson, right? So you're not moving, you're not taking that run, but he's perfect for them. He has been perfect for them. And not only has he been perfect for them, defensively, they've been way better. Not just because of Buddy Hield, not because of Buddy Hield, but Trace Jackson Davis. He's been great for them. I think he leads the league in field goal percentage. This team as a collective has been much better. Draymond is actually turning back the clock as a defender. He looks great getting around screens. He looks great on the glass. He looks great as a point of attack defender. He looks great. Absolutely. Golden State, I might be wrong about them because I don't have them making the playoffs. I don't have Golden State making the playoffs. I might be wrong about them.
Nah, Chill. You're not wrong. They're not making the playoffs. They do look good right now, though.
Yeah.
At 2, Chill, you got The Oklahoma City Thunder.
Adding Alex Caruso, and not only adding Alex Caruso, but adding toughness to that group. That just makes them so much better. Lou Dort, with playing with Alex Caruso, he just looks more comfortable, not just on the defensive end, but more on the offensive end, because defensively, how many turnovers they create. They're in the top of the league at creating turnovers and steals. And Lou Dort gets a lot more wide open shots. I said this to you a couple of days ago, Ox. I'm impressed by how comfortable he looks shooting the basketball. And there aren't a lot of guys. I didn't see that from him a year or 2 years ago. He would shoot the ball because he had to. He's not doing that anymore. He looks like, yeah, swing it over here. I got you. Swing it over here. And I really like that about him. Wiggins is another guy that I really dig with this crew. This team, a lot of times, and I said this to you a little while ago, Ox, you can have what you need right there. You got all the ingredients, but you got the wrong chef in the kitchen. Just change the chef. A lot of times you have that. And these guys, what they do is they get off of these guys. And instead of, you got everything you need right here, we just need a different voice, and we need different leadership.
Right. And number one on this list should be no surprise, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Well, Ox, they signed Donovan Mitchell in the offseason. They signed Jared Allen in the offseason. They signed Evan Mobley in the offseason. We already have the pieces necessary to be a good team. What do? You end up moving off of JB Bickerstaff, which I didn't like, but you end up moving off of Bickerstaff to get Kenny Atkinson, who is a damn good coach. Now the philosophy changes. The culture changes. We're still a damn good team defensively, but I feel like Kenny Atkinson is putting that battery in Donovan Mitchell back. He's telling Donovan Mitchell, yo, you're the best two guard in the game. There isn't a two guard in the game better than you. He's telling Evan Mobley, you're the best defensive player in the game. Show it. There isn't a better defensive player in the game better than you. And it's obvious how they fly around on defense. It's obvious how they pick up their point of attack defense. It's obvious how much faster they play when they create turnovers. So I love what they're doing in Cleveland, Ox. Every bit of it. I love what they're doing.
Okay. Just to run it back down for anybody that didn't hear what that list was. That list was the 5 teams that made, that got better in the offseason, that utilized the offseason to get better, and it's showing already. Teams that didn't have to wait till January, February for the offseason moves to have impact, instantaneous impact for the offseason. And those teams were number 5, the Houston Rockets, number 4, Minnesota Timberwolves, number 3, Golden State Warriors, number 2, Oklahoma City Thunder, and number 1, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the undefeated Cleveland Cavaliers. Let me see. Let's get back to some of these super chats really quick. Let's run through these. From Hunter, it says, Denver's issue will always be the bench. They may compete for the best starting 5 in basketball, but if the bench is going to be this bad, team will go nowhere.
I think yesterday, I think they were 1 for 7, something like that, Ox. And I think they had 2 points. They were garbage. Yeah, they were terrible, their bench at one point. They were bad. They got better, though.
Okay. Gunny says the biggest issues the Bucks have is they can't get around screens or play transition defense. They just need dirty work guys that are young.
I totally agree with that. I mean, that's all. If Ox, you're a coach, you can teach me footwork. You can teach me how to get around screens. You can teach me how to shoot gaps, right? You can teach me on the line, up the line. You can teach me what hand to use. At the end of the day, chill, drop your ass, get your feet moving, get your hands busy. That's it. That's it.
Definitely. Julius Irvin says, can't forget the Bucks still have Chris. He's still good.
When he's available. I mean, this is the second year in a row that he's missed training camp and he's missed the start of the season. This is the second year in a row that that's happened. So this ankle injury is becoming an even bigger problem than it was in the past. So.
And Duce Rhodes says, I believe Nash is running Canada basketball.
Is he? Like I said, I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything from Steve Nash. I don't know where he is. I
thought RJ's pops ran.
I did. I don't know, Ox. I won't sit here and tell you that I knew that because I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's a super chat. So let's see. We got time for somebody else in the lobby. I know Lewis has been waiting for a second. What up, Lewis?
What up?
What up, guys? How you guys doing?
What's up, brother?
Right.
What's up, man? I just wanted to ask a quick question real quick, and then I'm gonna get to the Bucks right after. I wanted to ask, how do you guys, because I feel like the Knicks now are gaining chemistry together, and they're playing way better than they were before. Like before, I feel like they lack chemistry with each other, and obviously you get a new teammate, you get Cat, you're gonna have to, glue together, gain chemistry together, play together. And I just feel like the Knicks have been so much better with the chemistry that they're gaining together. And I don't know, I just feel like they're improving a lot, to be honest. Even trading Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo, like I feel like Cat, his offensive game is so good. It's just his defense that really lacks. His defense is his biggest problem. And, he has to work on that. So I know he's older, but
I think we are in year 10 with Cat. I think that the same thing with Damian Lillard. It's probably what it is.
No, yeah, for sure. He's already 10 years in the league. There's nothing to do anymore. Like, this is who you are. What I was gonna say about the Bucks was it's just their pick and roll game with Giannis and Dame is so bad, and I don't understand how after 1 year they couldn't get that right, and that's still one of their biggest problems with the team is that pick and roll game, because Dame can't utilize it well with Giannis, and they just can't utilize together with the pick and roll game. So I just feel like that's one
of the main problems is Giannis doesn't set screens hard enough. So that's one of the main problems that they have. If Giannis was a better screen setter, I think that would be better. That's why Malone was so good, and Malone and Stockton. Malone was a great screen setter. And Stockton knew how to stay tight. He knew how to stay tight on those screens and get downhill. So if I'm Dame Lillard, I'm going to watch some Stockton and Malone film. If I'm Giannis, I'm going to watch some Stockton and Malone film.
Yeah, for sure. Karl Malone and John Stockton ran that pick and roll like there was no tomorrow. I'm ignoring everything Karl Malone did because that's away from basketball. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about his game. That's it. Nothing off the court matters when you talk about someone's game. But I appreciate you guys for having me on. And
absolutely, brother. Good to talk to you.
I appreciate you both. Thank you. Good to talk to you too, man.
Good to talk to you.
All right, Lewis. Okay. Yeah. Let me see. We just got another super chat from a pimp named Slickback. Chill. I don't want to hear this nonsense about Nets trading with the Bucks. Aren't we tired of this nonsense? We're in a rebuild. No more shortcuts, man.
For real. Start over. What are we doing, man? There's no quick fix here. Let's get this thing over.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I would rather. I don't know about y'all. I mean, I know we like to just go young in the NBA. Younger is always better. I'm not with that. If I'm like, we could either tank right now and potentially get Cooper Flag or Ace Bailey, or we could just trade for Giannis. Just bring me Giannis.
Which is cool, Ox. Which is great, Ox. But didn't we see this movie already? When you got KD at 29 years old? You got KD at 29 years old? He
was fresh off that Achilles. That was dangerous. I didn't like that. Even though KD is balling and came back, back 100%. Great. I personally wouldn't have done that. But hey, they did it. And I mean,
but you also got Kyrie Irving too, who was I think 26 at that point, something like that. He was 27.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't like he was long in the tooth. There was other circumstances that played those couple years. You know, the COVID and all that and everything. I think that really helped dismantle the Bucks. Sure. A lot of times we don't speak on that. We don't really add context to the disaster that was the Brooklyn Nets. I don't think that was just them. There was a lot of outside forces at play.
That's why I'm not sure if I want to do this again, Ox. That's why.
Yeah, but I mean, unless we have another COVID outbreak and Giannis,
which I don't think that's gonna happen. No.
Yeah, and if Giannis, says I'm not taking a shot, or and all of this happens, and then they go get James Harden. I mean, all I'm saying, Chill, is I'm with the rebuild thing and all that, but if I can get Giannis right now, or wait and hope that we can get Cooper Flag, just bring me Giannis, man. That's what we're doing. That me personally. But I'm getting these text messages. Oh, wait. Claire will wait for a super chat. Trust me, guys. Chill. Who is to blame in Detroit now?
Nobody's to blame in Detroit now. If you look at what your schedule looked like, okay, you opened up against Indiana, That's a playoff team. Cleveland, arguably the second best team in the East. The Celtics, world champs. You was in a dogfight with them. The Miami Heat, another playoff team. You beat Philly. And then last night you got blown out at home by the Knicks, who's arguably at the top of the East. So this schedule isn't favorable right now. No, it's not. And on top of that, Detroit doesn't have a closer. They do not have a closer. If they can do a better job in closing games, I think they got a better opportunity to win.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, y'all, like I said, man, my phone is blowing up. Claire she don't play, y'all. Claire is real serious about
I got to turn this off. Like, let's go, guys. Come on. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we appreciate everybody that came up, everybody that commented in the chat, everybody that just watched. Everybody that tunes in, we appreciate all of it. We'll see y'all next Saturday on another episode of Chill with Chill. I'm on playback tonight with Ron. Chill. We got tomorrow.
Yes, we are. We doing tomorrow night. Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna do Pistons Nets.
Yes, we are. Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do Pistons Nets tomorrow. We felt like these teams get underrepresented, and a lot of times we're not watching enough of them. So me and Chill tomorrow are gonna do the Detroit Pistons versus the Brooklyn Nets tomorrow. Yep. Tonight, me and Ron will be doing the Toronto Raptors versus, of course, the Sacramento Kings. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. Chill, you got anything on the way out?
Absolutely, guys, man. Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. Last time you talk to your mother, call your mother. And if you ever in the Portland area and you had a little bit too much to drink, my man over here, pick up the phone. He'll come scoop you. He will not let you stay out there half cocked. Nah, he won't do that. So pick up the phone and call my man. He'll come scoop you. We will see you guys soon, but until then, take it light, but take it.
Peace. Adam, we're not watching the Wizards, bro. Let it go. Boo.
Double boo.